All right, welcome back, everybody. It's me, Dr. KSD,
And me,
and I have company
POD.
today. How you gonna talk? You
Oh,
gotta wait
oh,
till you get
oh.
introduced. You see, he already trying to take over.
All right, start over. So,
Just trying to take over. But here is my other half. You know, people like to say my better half.
yep.
It's my other half. I don't know about my better half.
I'm still trying to figure out why my picture not up there.
Do you have a picture,
Nope.
man? All right. It's me, Dr. KSD. Welcome back to the Purpose for Greatness podcast. This is episode number 4,
All right.
entitled Two is Better Than One. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 through 12, I think, says two is better than one because if one falls down, the other can pick him up. And I love it. Actually, let's just read. Let's read the Ecclesiastes, actually. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, starting at verse 9, says, Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though only one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. And just in case you're wondering where the three came from, it's me, it's him, and it's the big man above.
That's right.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 through 12. Two is better than one. So I wanted to do this podcast episode because a lot of people would tell me, and I don't know if they tell you the same thing, that they are surprised that our marriage lasted after Papa went to heaven.
I was
Oh,
hearing that a little bit at the
yeah,
beginning. A lot of people said that, just make sure you hold on tight to your wife. And because a lot of times people, when a tragic loss, like losing Papa or losing a kid,
yeah.
um,
That's as tragic
it
as it gets,
breaks,
huh?
yes, it breaks marriage up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I heard the same thing, and people would also ask, "What are we doing? How do we? How did we not fall apart? How did we not end up in divorce court?" And my answer to them is always that God has always been a part of our marriage from the beginning. So that's that
Yes.
quarter three.
Yes.
And so when things get rough, you know, when you have God in the midst of it all, and I'm not trying to sound holy roly or anything like that, but honestly, God did so much in keeping my sanity, helping me get through from one day to the next. Um, Days when I was frustrated, and he can tell you there was some days when I told him I didn't want to be here, and then there's just some days even before when I say, look, I'm going to disappear. I ain't come. You ain't gonna find me. I'm cut all my GPS off.
Mm.
But then when I say that, I also say, okay, Lord, but I want to come back. I don't want to stay gone. Because, I think people have the misconception that marriage is just all peaches and cream and
Right. Right.
hunky dory. And I hate the fact that people give off that falsity because it is a falsity. People are people, we are individuals. I am an only child. He had a whole family that he just shared stuff with. I did stuff by myself. He did it with everybody.
Now, with that being said, I had only a sister. It was just us two, my mom and dad.
That's a family.
Well, yeah, but I mean, don't you make it seem like it was a whole bunch of us? But it wasn't a bunch of us. It was just us, But we were one of those families that was when you see them all, you know. Yeah.
That's a family.
Okay.
That's more than most people have.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You see people like that, they take it for granted. But I mean, it was just yeah, most people didn't have a daddy in the house.
Okay. Well, yeah.
You
You're
know,
right. You're right. You're right. You're right
that's
about that.
all. So,
Again, she's right.
well, ooh, you're gonna have to come on here more often because you don't say that a lot. Anyway, so we wanted to come on um and just talk about just our journey and the importance of two being better than one, especially during the holidays, because holidays can be pretty hard just in general, especially if you don't have anybody to share your holidays with. We're living in a day now where families are torn apart. You have so many different views on life and principles and ideals, and many families are feuding about little things as
Yes.
well, big things
Yes.
and little things. And so many people may find themselves alone, but it's not good to be alone, because see, when you are alone, that's when the devil that's when the devil gets you. That's when the devil will push you in a corner and he will tell you all kind of lies. You're not good enough. Nobody wants you. Nobody likes you. You never were really in the family. They always had you as an outcast. All kind of lies. That's why two is better than one, because when the devil starts feeding you all kind of negativity, you need to have somebody there letting you remember, making you remember. That's a lie. What you mean? What you mean you can't make it? Yes, you can make it. You're stronger than you think. What you think about that?
Yeah, you're right. You're
Mm,
right. I'm not a big talker, y'all, but she is right
he is a
because the
big talker.
devil, people just come and they try to break up something that's good. A lot of people, especially a marriage, they come with all
Hmm.
kind of negative talk on both ends. You know, the male and the female. They don't. A lot of family members don't like to see you happy. Don't like to see you successful.
That's true.
You know, so
That's true.
I don't know.
But that, to me, and I think it might be because I'm an only child. My feeling is this is my life,
Right.
so nobody gets to interfere with my life. You know,
Hmm.
so, and I mean that's how my mom raised me as well. So I feel like no matter where you are, people have this insane obligation. It's an insane notion because people feel obligated. They feel like it's
You saying they feel obligated to family,
yeah, they feel obligated to family no matter what,
whether they're right or wrong.
whether they're right or wrong. And the problem with that is Jeremiah 1 and 5 says that before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I set you apart. God created each individual person
Hmm.
for a purpose. Now, your purpose may not necessarily look like the purpose of other people in your family,
True.
but if you allow your family to influence what God has put in your heart and what God has given you a desire for, then you miss the whole purpose because you're allowing your family to dictate how you move and what you do. Now, for me, again, I was an only child, so it was an easier thing for me because I mean, my mama just kind of walked her own path. She did her own thing. I've said that before. My mom was the only one that did not get married because she said she knew from her childhood she did not want to get married
Hmm.
because in her mind, her mama was always working and her daddy was always looking for work. She said she wasn't doing that. Um, but there are a lot of families, like you, for example, y'all all came up together, and still, your sister, you could call your sister for anything. You call you call your
Yeah.
family for
Right.
anything.
Right.
But at the same time, it still goes without saying that every one of us has been put here for our own purpose. And this isn't for us. This is just, we're talking in general when he says that sometimes family doesn't want the best for you.
Right.
It might
Right.
be in your immediate family, it might be in your extended family, but that also goes for friends, that also goes for co-workers, that it could anybody, neighbors, the church, society as a whole. um, God did not have a conference with any of these people. That's the thing. He did not have a conference and say, okay, look, this is what we're going to do. What, do you agree? No. God formed you with a purpose in mind. That desire you have in your heart, that's what you need to go for. Don't let anybody hinder you from doing that. Marriages a lot of time don't last because the Bible says that the two become one. A man should leave his mother and father and be joined with his wife. Same thing for the wife. She leaves her mother and father and be joined to her husband. When you are joined with your husband or your wife, you become one unit. You should function as one unit.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't function as one unit if you doing your thing over here and the wife doing her thing over there, right?
True. True.
You got to be on the same page.
Yep. So you need communication.
Communication
Communication
is
is a
key.
key. You're right. Right. Right.
Absolutely. Communication is a
And
big key.
in a lot of relationships, marriages, there's no communication. And when there's no communication, there's no stability. There's no
No, how can there be stability?
right,
Yeah.
right. So you need communication is one of the keys to a marriage. Oh, I say it's maybe what about 70%, maybe more.
Yeah, I would say more.
Yeah.
Because it's just sometimes those unspoken things, that little itty bitty thing
Hmm.
that can knock down the whole wall.
And men and women both. We sometimes we fall off communication. Oh, they ain't gonna worry about it. It's small. I mean, they good, but then all of a sudden it come back.
Full force.
Oh yeah. So, well, I didn't know you was such and such. I knew
I'm
you was
coming back
here. I knew you
full
was there.
force.
I didn't know you was. And then all of a sudden, now you can't sleep at night. You know, because you didn't communicate.
For those of y'all who think he trying to throw a little shade, yeah, he trying to throw a shade, but I can tell you right now, I
Hey, but
communicated.
that's for another time.
I communicated.
Whenever I come back on, we're gonna talk about it.
But I'm just getting that out. I
Oh,
communicated.
she do. She really
He
do.
just thought he was just going to ignore it and it was just going to disappear, but nothing is disappearing until we have talked it out.
Yeah, yeah.
So you would think after 17 years he would understand that.
Well, I understand it now.
I'm glad you do.
I
But
like to sleep at night.
so I think though that our ability to communicate
Right.
is another thing that kept us from falling apart.
Yes. Yes.
Because at the end of the day, my loyalty was to him. I was hurting. I honestly didn't want to be here, but I was gonna take care of him. I was gonna make sure he had what he needed. I was gonna make sure that he was good. Um,
But did you tell everybody the whole story, how everything happened? That I was
mhm.
okay.
Well, for those of you who don't know, would
Yeah.
you want to, or you don't know
No.
the story?
Yeah.
Um, I
Being
mean,
I was in the hospital and
yeah.
all this stuff like that.
Okay, so
That's
just a quick rundown, and I'm just gonna say this ahead of time, and I'm talking about it because he's asking me if I gave the whole rundown, and I will since he's asking. But one of the things that I do want to tell people, when you lose a loved one, for whatever reason, the first question people want to ask is what happened. it's the thing that I remember the most because I wanted to scream sometimes. Stop asking him that. Like every time somebody asks you that question again,
Hmm.
I literally just wanted to kick him out. Like, okay, leave. Why does it
Yeah.
matter? It doesn't matter what happened. And I know that it is a very natural thing for people to ask. But one of the things that I feel God has given me a purpose to do is break down all of those traditional things that people have been doing, especially when it comes to grief. Because the questions that you're asking, the things that you're telling people, these are things that are keeping them in bondage and it makes people feel worse. Every single time you're asking somebody what happened, you are forcing them to relive that horrific event over and over and over again. How can you be helpful? Just be there. Cook for them, clean for them, take care of whatever errands you see need to be taken care of. I mean, we had people, y'all, coming here every weekend. Remember that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, our neighbors are the bomb.com.
Yeah.
Oh
They
my
took care of us.
goodness.
They really did.
Our neighbors took such good care of us. Carl,
Hmm.
David O came. But
Mr. Cal,
what that's the
Mr.
goodness,
Gooch.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Carroll, Mr. Gooch, Mr.
Hmm.
Al,
Mr. Al.
and Mr. Al's wife and Miss Betsy too.
Hmm.
Let's not leave out the women folk because look, the women were there too.
Oh yeah.
They would come. They kept the grass cut.
Daniel. Daniel. He came through.
Daniel,
Right.
look,
Everybody.
we had some amazing neighbors.
Hmm.
We had the ESA people who started the whole food train. We had food for 2 months, y'all. So Philip is the cook. I can cook. I can cook, but I don't cook. Because I already told this man, I bring in on the bacon, frying it in a pan, and letting him know you man. No, no, no.
Whatever.
So anyway, we had food from the ESA family, and other people who reached out for like 2 months,
Yeah.
maybe more than two
Yeah.
months. My line sisters got somebody to bring, so 3 months because my line sisters got someone to cook, um, for another a month after the ESA folks finished. It
Hmm.
was so much, but
And of course, family.
and
Of,
of yes,
of course, that's a no-brainer. They were there also, cooking and
yeah,
cleaning and doing all the stuff they
yep.
could. Right.
And so when the crash happened, for those of y'all who don't know, August 27th, 2019, um, my husband was bringing our son to jujitsu practice, and a distracted driver went into their lane and hit him head on. And that was the day our baby boy went to heaven. Um, the firefighters, one of them actually reached out to me because she said that they were just also devastated, but she said it took them over an hour to get him out of the vehicle. They had to get the jaws of life to get him out. Nobody could understand how he survived it. They had to air med him, to the hospital. He he went straight to surgery, and he was in the hospital for a week. Um, when he came home, he literally needed help with everything. Had to help him get in the bed, help him get out of the bed, help him, um, to the bathroom. Look, from the bed to the wheelchair, wheelchair to the bathroom. You know what else? I got to give a shout out to Mr. Mouton. Mr. Mouton, when he was building our house, he was like, "Yeah, we need to just go on ahead and make everything, ready,
Right. Right. Just in case.
ADA accessible. You never know." Yeah, wheelchair got through all of the doors and hallways without a problem. Had to wash him. I mean, everything, everything. Um, so being there for him, I think that to me, it was one of the ways that God gave me a reason to get up every day. Because even though I have known God all my life, that I've since I was 10, I've
Hmm.
been saved since I was 12. But this here, my mom passed away 10 years before that, but that threw me for such a loop. I did not have the strength to want to go on. And I think God just gave me a good purpose in being there, taking care of you. Um, and then Leah started talking about want to go to UL. And again, nothing's wrong with UL, but look, Leah is a brilliant mind that she needed to be in a place where she was really going to be challenged. JJ was doing well
Mm-hmm.
in the army, talking about, well, I'm gonna just come home. Like, I just think that God gave me the purpose that I needed, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
And we can talk about it now. I couldn't talk about it before. It took about 3 years for me to even discuss this. To be honest,
yeah.
I just couldn't. That's why I asked you if you had mentioned it
Mm,
earlier
yeah.
in your podcast.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
so it's now 5 years later. Um, Still hard to believe. I still find myself sometimes like, damn, my baby is not
yeah,
back
yeah.
here. Like it just still seems
Like
really
yesterday.
surreal.
Seems like yesterday.
Yeah, it still it does. You know, I never understood grief before, but I understand it too well now.
Yeah.
Too well. So this whole podcast is about not not going through life alone, especially during the holidays, because the holidays can evoke a whole lot of sadness and depression, especially for people who are not connected with others, who don't have partners or families to share time with, um, who don't necessarily feel loved, who feel like they're walking alone. We just want to let you know that you don't need to do life alone. I don't know. For some reason, people think it's like an honorable thing. I did it by myself, but we're not meant to walk the
Right.
earth alone. Ecclesiastes tells us that. Even when Jesus came, you know, Jesus was alone. I want to say really once when he went on the mountaintop for the 40 days and 40 nights to fast.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he always had his disciples with him. When he sent his disciples out to minister to people, he sent them out two at a time because we're not meant to be alone. Why you think God created Eve for Adam? He said it's not good for man to be alone. We're not meant to be alone. We are meant to be with our families. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean blood family. You might not have a good relationship with your blood family, but your spiritual family or your tribe. I get a lot of people who, because it's not family, why my mom couldn't be like, why my dad couldn't be like that. Don't miss out on sharing great quality time with anybody who loves you. It does not have to be blood. That nowhere does it say you have to be with blood relatives. Just find people who love you and care about you and accept you for you. What you think about it?
It's good. That is good.
All right. So I have some questions for my hubby here. Did you say your name? I think you said your name. Cause I think we just started to, and don't fix your face like that because I think you butted in and I think you got me
I
hard.
threw you off. I threw you off.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Because I wasn't introduced.
So this is Mr. Philip Dotrieve Jr.,
Yep.
Papa's dad.
Yep.
Papa was the third, as y'all know. So Mr. Philip, let's see. Tell me,
Hold up. Hold up.
okay.
All right. Now I'm ready. Don't ask me no crazy questions because I'm gonna give you some crazy answers.
Fix it, Lord.
All
Fix
right.
it, fix it.
I'm not even supposed to be here, y'all. I'm supposed to be sleeping at this time. But hey, I am here. I'm supporting because that's what husbands do.
Mm,
So what you
mm,
got, baby?
mm,
Give it to me.
mm, mm. Fix it, Lord. All right. So, so how about this? Would you like to introduce the people to Papa? What fond memories you have of Papa? What
Ooh,
kind of
man,
kid he was?
Papa was a class act. He was he was the life of the party. Papa was one of them. He was a kid that when he showed up, trust everybody in the place would know him. Everybody, because he would make it be known. He was more like a politician. I hate to say that,
He
but
really
he was a
was.
politician.
He was going to be a good politician.
Yes, he was. Yes,
Mm.
he was. So he's gonna introduce himself and make everybody happy, make everybody welcome. Um, and he was just lovable, man. He was just, you know,
Mm.
he got it from his daddy.
Look, I will not refute that at
We're
all.
gonna talk to everybody. We're gonna make everybody at home.
Everybody,
Yeah, feel at home.
young and old,
Yes,
black and white, rich and poor. Not a single soul was left out.
right,
Not
right,
a
right.
single one. You talked about politician. So remember he was, I think this was must have been pre-K,
Mm-hmm.
um, with Miss Sandy. Miss Sandy, she either called or she sent a note home asking us to drop Papa earlier. So I thought Phillip was dropping him late. So I was fussing. I'm like, boy, you getting to school late in the morning? You dropping my child in the morning, making him tardy? It's like, we're not getting to school late. So go and talk to her. She says, oh no, he's not dropping him late. But when Papa gets out the vehicle, he has to talk to everybody like a little politician. He talks to the teachers, he talks to the parents, he talks to the students. So by the time he makes it to the class, he's late. But he doesn't want to miss anybody. And look, when I talked about this one day on Facebook, there were some parents who came on and were like, you are right about that. We used to love when we would see Phillip because he would definitely make our morning.
Oh yeah.
Because he made sure they saw him. He made their day because he saw them and took his time to call out their name and tell them hello or good morning. So that was him. He always did. And Lord, no matter where we went,
Oh yeah.
no matter where we went, this boy was going. He
He was
was
gonna find
finding
somebody.
somebody
He's
to
gonna
talk to.
talk.
But all of those adults, none of them wanted to leave him. None of
Right,
them wanted
right.
to stop talking. Everybody was enjoying the conversation.
And one thing that he had loved so much, I know he loved sports. He loved sports. But Pop was a reader. He loved to read books.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the way bringing him to school, he always had a book. Always had a book in his hand, reading a book. And that was just so awesome. You don't see that with a lot of kids nowadays, but
Mm-hmm.
he was one that, yeah, he was really different.
Mm-hmm. All right. So during the time when you were incapacitated, when you needed all that help, tell me what left a lasting impression on you the most, with the help you got, or was there anything that stood out to you about, needing help and getting help, or did you get the help that you needed?
Oh yes, I got the help that I needed. And yeah, everybody was there. Everybody helped me. Everybody just showed love. Um, at the time, it was the help that I really needed from everyone. Oh, of course, especially you. You really helped me out a lot. But friends and cousins and neighbors came through and just poured love in. And of course, I'm one of those persons that I like company. I like to talk. So
Hmm.
the more I talk, it's like out of sight, out of mind. For me, that's how it was for me.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Mhm.
It was good. Everybody came and they helped out. Really did.
So one of the big things for us is that, like I said before, I am an only child, and he comes from the two-parent home with the sister and
Hmm.
a family. I am accustomed to dealing with things by myself. He is accustomed to dealing with things with people.
Yeah, as a group. As a group.
So our grief looked completely different. I wanted to be in this house, secluded, left alone. I didn't want to talk to anybody. He needed the company. And
Yes.
so all that he just said, he enjoyed having the people around and talking to folks. I didn't like any of that. None of it. But both of us were grieving.
Right.
So one of the things was we had to be understanding and considerate of one another's feelings and the fact that we were both grieving. I couldn't force my way on him and he couldn't force his way on me. That would have been very unfair. So what we ended up doing was, I would get him prepared in the morning, bring him in the front where he would be able to sit on the sofa and he can have all the company he wanted and I could retreat to my room. That way, both of us were pretty much satisfied in how we needed to grieve. None of us felt resentment towards the other because you're forcing me to have these
Hmm.
people around or I'm forcing you to be in isolation. Um, it's really important for two people who are grieving together to be respectful of one another's ways of grieving. There's no one way to grieve. There's not two ways to grieve. You grieve however it feels most comfortable and most beneficial for you. But I will absolutely tell you, as uncomfortable as it may seem sometimes to cry and express yourself, please don't let those nasty emotions stay buried here because the longer they are here unexpressed, the more toxic they become and the more likely they are to affect the rest of your life. Whether you need a counselor, somebody to walk you through it, get the help you need if you need help. Please
Yes.
dispel this whole notion that you don't need counselors because I think at some point in our lives, everybody needs to talk to a counselor. And if you've never talked to a counselor before, you need to talk to one because you probably got all kind of pent up stuff that you put off as that's just how I am. That's
Hmm.
not just how you are. That's just how grief has you. Um, what do you think about that?
Well, that really helped me out a lot. Speaking to a counselor in the class that we went through, um,
Hmm.
it it helped me out. It helped me out because I was in a bad place at the time. I really was. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't know if I wanted to be here or not. I just spoke about you, but I know how I was. I just lost Papa. And well, we had just lost Papa, and I was I was in a bad place. I was in a real bad place. In not thinking about the other kids.
Yeah,
Because we blended family, but
yeah,
it was just Papa. That's all I was thinking about was him, and missing him, and going through the counseling. It really helped me out. It really did.
yeah. So that's another subject there because it was a revelation for me too. You know, grief. I am convinced now that grief is one of those things that the devil has slowly but very, very meticulously weaved into the fabric of our lives to the point that he has made it seem as though grief is necessary. Your baby is gone. You need to grieve. You can't be happy. How you gonna be happy because he's not here? So he
Hmm.
make you feel guilty about being with the other children because that's where I was. I wanted to do stuff with the other children. I knew we should do stuff with the other children, but I was so hurt that I couldn't.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then as time was going on, I mean, I could hear God telling me, if you don't do something, the other children are not going to have good memories with you. The other children are going to feel like you love Papa more than you love them. That's what started playing through my mind. Like, and I'm like, I don't love Papa more than them. I just feel so hurt and shattered. But don't Don't let grief rob you of memories you can have with the people who are still here. They still deserve to have you. And we're talking about the loss of our child, but you can be grieved from anything.
Right.
You could have lost your job, you could have lost your home, a vehicle, you could have gotten divorced, um,
A pet.
you could have lost a pet,
Yeah.
any kind of loss. Any loss you experience in your lifetime can lead to grief. Don't allow grief to rob you of the rest of your life because that's what was happening. Grief steals your purpose, grief steals your hope. And if you don't have any hope, you're not even expecting anything to happen because hope is where we get the excitement of expectation.
Hmm.
But if you don't have any hope, you have no expectation of anything, all you're going to do is just wither away and die. But another thing for people who have lost loved ones, I did not want Papa's memories to die with me.
Right.
I want his spirit to live on forever. So I talk about him all the time. That was another thing that was different about us. I wanted Papa's picture up everywhere. I wanted to plaster the walls with his pictures. And
Hmm.
I was putting pictures everywhere. And I put a picture right up on our mantle. And he told me one day, I can't do it. You got to take the picture down. I don't know
I
if you
don't.
remember
I
that.
don't. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, you were like, I can't. And so I took the picture down because I have a picture on the side of my bed. It didn't need to be on the mantle. I could have been like, that's my child too.
Hmm.
Why I can't have, because when you go through stuff, that is not the time to be selfish.
Right.
Not at all. Because the devil is already putting all kind of things in your head, making you think the worst things. We don't need to add fuel to the fire. Those are the times when you need to draw near. You definitely don't want to make any emotional decisions because those emotional decisions usually are horrible decisions. So, those are some good things that I can tell you now. Those are definitely good things that held our marriage together.
Hmm.
Let's see. All right. So, now that the holidays are rolling around again, so this is gonna be Christmas number 5 with our Papa. Um, how do the holidays make you feel now? It's 5 years later.
Well, it makes me feel. I feel sad at times because I miss Papa, of course, and I knew he loved the holidays. We all love the holidays, and it's like with him not being here, it's like a empty space.
Yeah,
But what I do, you know, I'm, I think about all the memories we had together, all the good times we had together, and of course, I talk to him all the time. Talk to his spirit because I know he's around. He's
mm,
always with me, and I go to the grave site at times, and just go spend some time with him over there. His body, because I know his spirit is around.
yeah,
So that's the only thing. I get sad, but then I think about the good times we had, and it perks me up.
it's
That
good.
always perks me up. Just thinking about the good times we had.
Yeah, same for me. That's a wonderful thing. Every time I'm sad, I've learned to I have to cry it out because if I don't cry it out, then I feel heavy,
Hmm.
and that heaviness gets worse until I finally just cry it out. Um, but once I cry it out, I always follow it up with a happy memory to
Right,
chase that
right.
gloomy feeling away. Um, yeah, same for me though. I feel sad. I think I feel sad all the time. But what I realize is sadness. is something that can be made to feel better. The kids come around and I feel more
Yeah, energetic. You're
alive
right, right,
and
right.
happy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what is crazy for me is I used to tell them all the time, I can't wait till y'all all have your own house so I can have my space back. And now I prefer the kids being here because it's too quiet. Um,
Man, I'm ready for them kids to go.
lie. He's a lie. He is a
Whatever.
he is not telling the truth. Um, but yeah, I like the noise and I like the
Right,
just
right.
having them around, um, which is surprising to me because I've always been like, okay, y'all got to go, y'all
Mm-hmm.
got to go. But the holidays, I used to feel guilty, um, because I used to feel like we shouldn't be having fun.
Celebrating. Right,
Yeah, we shouldn't
exactly.
be celebrating.
Right.
And again, it's just another trick of the devil, making you withhold the ability for you and your other loved ones to have new memories. They are still here. They are not gone. They deserve to continue having those memories. And another thing, our purpose is still alive. Our
Mm-hmm.
purpose didn't die. So we owe it to God to fulfill that purpose. I am 100% positive that we're going to see Papa again.
Oh my God.
And I don't know if we ever talked about this, but yeah, you like the graveyard. I go to the graveyard, um, but I go more out of, I want to say maybe out of obligation,
Mm-hmm.
because I know his spirit is not there.
Right,
It's just
right,
the
right.
flesh, and I feel like if the more I talk about him, it's like I can feel his spirit
Mm-hmm.
around me. And I close my eyes sometime. I'm like, okay, Lord, let me feel him. And then I'm like, okay, I might be scared a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna get over it. Let me
Yeah.
feel him a little bit. And Lord, I love when I have dreams about him.
Right.
But yeah, the graveyard for me is like not a thing. As you know, I don't go by my mama's grave. I go like on occasions,
Right,
but
right,
it's
right.
more out of obligation because their spirit is not there.
Mm-hmm.
So um let's see. What what self-care practices have you found to be beneficial to manage your grief?
I exercise a lot. I go to the gym. I work
A
out.
lot.
I haven't been doing it
A
lately
lot.
because football season is over, and for me, that is.
He
And
is a referee.
yes, and I'm about to start back again because baseball season's starting back. So gotta get myself in some kind of shape. And
Mhm.
me and Papa used to work out together,
Oh yeah, he loved working out
and
with his daddy boy.
that's one of the things that keeps me motivated.
Hmm. So I had a big problem with him going back to referee. So how long you been refereeing?
Uh, like 27 years, 25, 26 years or more.
So he had two knee surgeries and he had a neck surgery. And the damage to his cervical spine was so high up that it literally could have damaged his brainstem. It could have paralyzed him. Could have affected his ability to breathe. But we had Dr. Jason Cormier who got him right. Um, but still, this is operated on. I did not want him to go back to referee. Every time he goes, I am, well, not anymore. When he first started refereeing, I was really concerned, and I didn't want him to. I probably expressed that to you that
Hmm.
I did not want him to because so he's an umpire. The umpire is across from the quarterback in the center. So he's
On the
like
defense.
right on in the midst of things. So it's easy for him to get knocked down,
Now, y'all,
run
I can't
over.
explain this, but she's doing a good job, so I'm gonna let her
Oh,
continue.
I'm so go on ahead.
No, I'm messing. I'm messing.
Saying
I'm
it
messing.
from my perspective.
All right, go.
And so for me, it's worrisome that he could at any point get run over, knocked down by these young boys with these big shoulder pads on, and all it takes is for him to fall the wrong way for something to happen. Except him just being home was making him more depressed. So he was already depressed about not being able to cut the grass and do this, that, and the other that he was doing before. I didn't want to take the refereeing away from him, so all I could do was put it in God's hands, and God has kept him safe for I don't know how long you've been refereeing again. 2 years.
Yes.
2 years, and I am worried, but not like I was initially. Nah, I just say a prayer. Okay, Lord, God's got it in his hands, because at the end of the day, we have to be able to live a good quality of life. There's no reason for me to insist he be home where he's safe and then he's withering away because he's depressed. That wasn't going to work either. So,
right.
Yeah. So, self care for me is just closing myself in this room away from the noise, watching television, I will binge watch or something like that, and
do paperwork.
No, I'm not doing paperwork if I'm doing not for self care.
Man, that's your self care. You always doing paperwork.
Not for self care.
Or you on the phone.
No, oh no, not that is not true. No, I'm not even. My phone might be ringing, and I'm not gonna look at it. Um, what advice would you offer to other bereaved parents, especially couples who are struggling to survive the holidays without their child?
Seek counseling. Seek counseling. It really helps. Um, when you missing your child, missing your loved one, go into a room, a dark room, or go any room with no noise, close your eyes, and just think about your child. Think about your loved one. Think about the good times you had with him. And I guarantee he's gonna bring a smile to your face. And that's what I do. I just go in the room and close my eyes and think about all the great times we had together, especially during the holidays, and it brings a smile. Sometimes it brings a tear, but for the most part, it brings a smile to my face, and I feel a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
I agree. I also want to add that if you do feel like there's tension rising up, go to your separate corners of the house.
Right.
Not outside the house.
No, inside.
Don't ever let the devil separate you. That too much. Two is better than one. But you don't want the snowball effect or the domino effect where one little thing explodes into another and another and another, and then you're arguing. If emotions are getting out of hand, just take a minute. Take a minute to just go to your different corners and calm down, and then we can start again. If you feel like your partner is not hearing you out on a certain thing, um, one of the things that I started doing that I learned, I forgot from where, is if I feel like he's not hearing me, I say, okay, what did I say? Because if I tell him something, that dude will start talking about something I wasn't even talking about. Like, what? Where you going with this? Hold on. What do you think I said?
I'm coming back, but I'm making my circle.
So make them repeat. What do you think I asked you for? What do you think I said, to make sure that they heard you properly? Because sometimes people did not hear you properly. I also will give you this advice: hear the other person out. Let each person have their time to express themselves without you saying me too. because each one of you needs your turn to just be able to express it, and it's just yours, right? Just so you can get the emotion out without anybody coming in and saying, that's how I felt too, like, no, no, no. Just each person should have their own time to just express themselves, because it's when you get it out of your system that it feels better. And let nothing and no one tell you how you should be doing things. You do things the way it feels right for you to do it. Only the two of you know. Losing a child is a completely different monster from anything I've ever felt in my life. Um, but just because we both lost our child doesn't mean that we grieve the same way, as we talked about earlier. My relationship with Papa was different from his relationship with Papa. I was close to Papa, but he was close to Papa. But Papa had a special relationship with both of us. Doesn't matter that your child spent more time with you or more time with them. Just be respectful that each one of you had your own relationship, and honor that, and allow that person, your spouse, to express themselves the way they need to express themselves. But do not allow grief to just take over. If you see your spouse going down the rabbit hole, you better grab them out of there. Get them the help they need. If they don't want to see a counselor, call the counselor anyway, because we do what we need to do for the people we love. Um, and always remember, like he said, always bring up those happy memories. I think at the end of every cry, you have to bring up those happy memories. But all holiday long, bring up your loved one. We were talking about Papa for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying, he put in our text message, boy, Papa would have had a big plate of food by now. Man, and a big plate, yeah. Christmas time, man, I don't even know what the list would look like right now, because you would be 15. Lord, what kind of expensive list would that
What's
be? He'd be about to drive,
you
like,
know?
well, he probably would have been driving already.
Yeah.
Just it's all of those wonderful things. I can imagine what your child would be doing. That, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And it shouldn't just evoke painful memories. You want to make sure that you get into a program where you can properly express those emotions, because Papa went to heaven 5 years ago. It's not like we're experiencing it over and over and over again every day. What stays behind is the pain, that emotion from it. That's what we have to learn how to express properly, so that we can have those wonderful, beautiful memories come up
Mm-hmm.
and it not cause us pain. That's what you need. And definitely, anyone who is interested in the program that I put together, please, by all means, inbox me, contact me. You can email me at contact at drksd.com, contact at doctorksd.com, or you can go to my website, drksd.com, doctorksd.com, and you can message me there. But it's a step by step approach to getting those emotions that are trapped inside, that are toxic and killing you slowly, getting them out so that you can live the life of purpose that you're supposed to be living. Last question. What have you learned about resilience and love from this journey of loss that we have been on?
Hmm. Just stay close. Communication, like I said earlier, is the key. Um, love your spouse.
You see what I
Stating
mean?
love with your spouse.
Hold on. You see what I mean? He ain't listen to the question at all. What do you think I see?
It's gonna be some hard days, gonna be some hard times, but always remember, like I said, to love on each other and stay as one.
What I have learned about resilience and love is that love can truly conquer anything. And I definitely learned that I am stronger than I thought I was because I did not think I was going to survive it. I had days when I just thought, there's no way I'm going to survive this, Lord. I cannot see beyond tomorrow. I can't imagine how I'm going to make it to tomorrow, let alone next week, next month, next year. But what I've learned is when you are rooted and grounded in the Lord already, when you already have a strong relationship with your spouse, when you already have your support system, especially your tribe, though you are though you are anything but strong, though you feel shattered, even though you feel like giving up, you have already put measures in place to guarantee that you're going to survive, even though you don't feel like you're going to survive. You have to have those things already in place. I did not believe that love was a real thing. I really didn't believe love was a real thing because I'd never ever loved anybody like, you see the people falling out like, oh Lordy, I've never been in that kind of relationship before. I never I never knew what real love was. I mean, I didn't grow up with a daddy in my house either. But I I am grateful that you're still here. It also made me realize that life is precious. Don't sweat the small stuff. Live your life with purpose because life is fragile. We walk around here like we got 9 lives like cats
Mm-hmm. Yep.
when we do not. And the Bible says we do not know the day nor the hour.
So true.
We better be ready already. Papa was ready.
He was.
I know undoubtedly he is in heaven. We better be ready. Now, I would say I don't know why the Lord left you here. Um, but I would tell you that I wouldn't miss out on the second chance for sure, you know? So, but yeah, that's what I learned. So, do you have any additional closing remarks?
Ah, thank y'all for coming.
Oh, we're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to do this again. So thank you all so much. Listen, don't forget, please click the subscribe button, click the follow button, whatever you have down there, click it. But don't just click it, click like, leave us a comment, let us know what you thought about the episode. Let us know if you want us to come back and do something else together, if there's a specific topic you want us to talk about. And by all means, share, 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 share. Share with other couples that you know have lost kids, or even
Yes.
individuals who have lost kids. Um, just share with people so that we can get rid of all of these horrible things that have been passed down from generation to generation that have been holding people hostage and keeping them in bondage. My feeling right now is grief does not get to win. Every one of us has a purpose. We are to live life with purpose on
Purpose.
purpose. That's how God wants us to live. And if God still has you here walking this earth, it's because you're meant to impact lives. Don't give up. Don't let grief rob you of the rest of your life. Don't let grief rob you of your purpose. Because this is how the devil wins. If I stop, none of you would be hearing us right now. None of you would be impacted. Imagine how what you're hearing right now is impacting your life and how it's helping you to move forward and do better. What if you never heard those words? That's what the devil is after. The devil is trying to steal our purpose so that we don't impact lives, because if we don't reach people, they may not ever understand what salvation is. So live your life with purpose. And remember that it's not just for us. Our purpose is not for us. Our purpose is for the people we're meant to impact. Don't miss out on impact and lives because the devil has you stuck in a grief pit. We were not meant to be in grief. We can be sad, but we should not be in grief. So thank you
So true.
again. Thank you,
Yeah.
honey. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me come on here and
Mm-hmm.
showing my face.
So don't forget, everybody, live life with purpose on purpose. And look, we have another set of teas that you can get from the merch, from the merchandise place, as well as the book and the 21-day journal. So if you go to the merchandise, the drksdbrands.com, you can find all of our merchandise there. The book and the journal are also available on Amazon. They are both live now. And enjoy the holidays. Happy holidays to each and every one of you. I pray that you will fight to get out of that bed and go and visit some family members, whether it's your blood relatives or your spiritual family. Do not spend the holidays alone. Find the people who love you and care about you and spend the time with them, because you are not meant to live this life alone. Two is better than one. All right, everybody. Peace.